many more do I have to do? I have to do 2 more. That's easy. Andre,
Yeah,
how you doing?
I'm doing.
Hey, you seem out of it today.
I'm just doing a lot of stuff right
Do we need to cancel?
now. No, I have it live right now. It's actually live right now.
Wait, we're live? You didn't say we're live?
I know. I was doing something fast, but welcome everybody. Okay. But hang on, give me a second. Some stuff. Okay, welcome everybody to the stream. We are here for our 10th episode of our podcast, and hope you guys had a great weekend. Memorial Day weekend was yesterday. Hope you guys had a great time eating food, remembering the people that served our country and didn't return, but we honor them for everything they've done, so we have what we have. But yeah, how was your Memorial Day weekend, Spartan?
Busy with a lot of personal stuff. Like fixing up my mother's house and everything.
Cool.
Always sucks because it's like doing that the day before I go back to work. Never fun.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
We weren't able to go out just because the storms here were pretty bad. So it was like, we're not going out to the mud where the cemeteries are. And
Yeah, I heard the storms were pretty bad.
they were terrible around here this weekend.
We didn't get that much. I guess we barely missed it, but I know a lot of people did get some pretty wicked storms. Yeah, I helped my in-laws put some patio equipment together.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah, it actually wasn't bad. It's not bad at all. But okay, so today's podcast, we're gonna, since there's really no Star Wars or new Star Wars series is going on right now. I know Acolyte will be starting up. I think it's in 2 weeks.
I think it's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. So we decided to kind of take a little look at some Star Wars stuff that is not TV series, but video games. And one of the video games we thought of that came to mind was the Jedi series, Star Wars Jedi series. We got Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and then the latest one in the series, which is Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a third one, is what I have been reported, even though there's been some layoffs and stuff like that. So I know some people have been worried about that with gaming and stuff with the layoffs and everything. But yeah, they're still working on the next Star Wars Jedi game. Have no idea what's going to happen in it. It's going to be exciting, but we're going to kind of just talk about these games, some theories, and, all the normal stuff we do. And I'm joined, of course, by my host. As I said, I didn't do this before, but my lovely host, co-host, Spartan.
Hello.
Yes,
We are here. We are back once again.
Yes.
Feeling lost, but now and then.
Always feeling lost. Sometimes. It just depends.
You can flame him in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Not knowing the reference.
I don't know the reference. It's okay.
You didn't know where that was from?
No.
Damn it.
I'm sorry.
Anyone who does remember, it's from a show called Victorious. So
Oh, Victorious. Okay.
Yeah. You're lost in the moment of anticipation.
Yes.
You don't have to be afraid to put your dreams in action.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm break into song and dance.
Please don't. No copyright, please. Okay, so
we're probably already getting struck down. Dan's got nothing better to do right now.
I hope not. I'm not playing Star Wars music, so we're already in a good spot right now already. So.
Ah, well, then shit. Maybe that's why we haven't had the audience. We're just getting taken down.
Nah, I wish. No, I haven't been playing Star Wars. I want to play Star Wars music, but I haven't. I have not been playing any Star Wars music. 'Cause I know. I know how it is. I know how Disney works. Split screen.
I said we haven't been shut down yet, and you're like, I wish.
I wish sometimes.
No,
we're not. But yeah, welcome back. Okay, so I got a picture in the background. We got our favorite main character, Cal Kestis, and his amazing little robot that he meets in the first game.
BB1.
Yeah, BB1. Yeah. So.
No, not BB. BD.
BD1.
Yes.
Bad thing is I was really trying to prepare for this. Like, I was listening to some recap videos and stuff, but I was just so busy that I'm going to forget people's names and stuff, so I'm trying
That's why I'm here. I'm kind of a nerd.
Yeah. But I'm trying to prepare. I want to be a little more professional a little bit, instead of me just being like, yeah, that person. Don't remember their name, and then you're like, it's that person. I'm like, oh, yeah, that guy, yeah. But yeah.
Yes, it sucks that Bebo
Baggins just so I guess where do we want to start with this, I guess.
So all in all, folks, what we're gonna go over is just kind of, where that's taking place in our world, like where we want more of it, where, personally I feel like the games are underrated, and by that, don't lean too far into my words here. I know the game is very well acclaimed because it's great. Like, seriously, if you haven't played it, go fucking play it. The sequel especially, like, it does wonders to the first one.
See.
The only reason I say it's underrated is because Disney hasn't adapted it yet into our own timeline. Like, into the game, or into the overarching movies and TV series.
So what you mean is it hasn't been adapted to any of the, I guess, media besides like video games.
It's locked to itself, and not even the shows have even really hinted at it. I guess like the biggest hint we've gotten is the path. The path is something from the second game that was revealed. So mind you, major spoiler for the game, this episode. So if you haven't played it, please go play it. Please click off this video and go enjoy it for yourself, because it really is an amazing ride.
It is a really good set of games. Lately, from seriously. Definitely.
And
yeah, go ahead.
I would say if you have Game Pass, you can play it through the EA Play. You can Game Pass Ultimate for Xbox and PC. But you can play both games off EA Play. So, go have fun.
See.
Like $15 a month for both of them, so why not?
I also think, if I'm remembering correctly, I think this game is on sale right now. Or it was definitely on sale during
May the 4th.
Or not May the 4th, but Memorial Day weekend. You can get like a physical copy for like a little bit over $20, if I'm remembering correctly.
Well, there you go, folks.
It's a good game. It plays like a how do I explain it? It's a third person. It's got kind of Dark Souls vibes to it, but I wouldn't say it's very Dark Souls. It is tough. You're gonna face some bosses and stuff in the game. Some of them you have to face to progress through the story. And then there are some side ones you can do for special stuff that you don't have to beat. Some of them are a pain in the butt. I will definitely say that. That's really sucks. I don't remember the name of the creature.
Struggled.
What's the name of the creature?
You're thinking of the fucking frog, aren't you?
Yeah, the stupid frog that I hate.
I think it's like Ogmore or something like that.
Yeah.
Or Ogdo. It's Ogdo. Because, yeah, in the second game, it's a character from the first game that they jokingly put in the second game as a boss. Even though it was a boss in the first one, too. But, you know. And this one, you fight two of them, even. The son of Ogdo and Ogdo. So it's a funny little shout-out to the first game.
Yes. Please. I'm just finishing up some stuff.
Yeah, all in all, it is kind of like a Souls game. I wouldn't like just write it off like, oh god, Souls, bye. Because even I myself, I don't like Souls games. But this is kind of one of those games that like you could play it and have fun with it like a Souls game without playing Souls, without like wanting to pull your hair out, you know, from the main, to me, mind-numbingly repetitious patterns of enemies.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to wait 15 minutes to be able to do 2 hits and then wait another 15 minutes to do another 2 hits and go like that. Like, no.
Yeah, but it's a really good game. Trying to think. So the first game you did a lot with the Inquisitors. I don't remember which number. What was the number of the Inquisitor? That's your kind of your main nemesis through the whole Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, you're talking about. I remember her name. I don't remember her number.
Oh, just give her a name. That'll be fine. That'll work.
I don't quite remember it. I just know it better than I know. I know it better than I know her number. Like, because all the Inquisitors, you know, they're owned by a certain name, like 8th sister, 9th brother, or whatever.
That cool
this
person.
One, I believe, is 6th sister.
6th sister.
I believe it. It's either 6 or 8, because one of them is the one from Rebels, and the other one's her.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you know, it's not like necessary. God, I'm trying to remember her name. I want to say it's like Harla. It's not Harla. Harla's a terrible name for her.
It can be though. Her name.
No.
Da, 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 da. Oops. Thing popped up. Okay. But yeah, hang on, I'll have to look it up. Give me a second, guys.
And otherwise, every time I'm thinking of it, I'm just like immediately going to Rava. I think that's her name. The chick from Kenobi. Like, yeah, that's not any better.
The chick.
We don't need that one.
Nah.
The
chick from Kenobi. It's the second sister.
Oh, she was second sister? Really?
Yeah, it's Sira Junda.
No.
I probably.
That's her apprentice.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Female who serves.
Andre, you know Seer.
Second sister. That's what's popping up though.
Yeah, it's definitely not her.
Second sister.
Seer is Seer. Seer is like your kind of Jedi mentor through the games.
Elizabeth Grulon as the second sister. Gruel. Elizabeth. We'll just call her Elizabeth. That's what it says. Elizabeth, as the second sister, is part of the Empire's Jedi Hunting Inquisitors. The second sister serves as the game's main antagonist. So yeah, her name's Elizabeth.
I don't believe that's a character's actual name. Might be the actress's name, but not.
Maybe that is. I don't know. It's not telling me. I'm just kind of dumb.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up real quick. But anyway, folks, I just feel bad for the game, section of the lore of Star Wars because we feel like we should get more. You know, I wish we got this in connectivity. This is definitely one of the more successful avenues that Disney needs to put out since acquiring Star Wars, and I would absolutely love to see it get a little more recognition. Because, not everyone's a game player, not everyone's a gamer, not everyone wants to sit around and do shit on their TV like that with Star Wars. No, they want to watch it. They want to play it. They don't want to have to force their way through it. No, they want to watch it. There's nothing wrong with that. And not everyone's going to get to know Cal's story just because of that, which I think is really unfortunate. I know we've gone back and forth a number of times, and one of the things that I always theorized, because I did a bunch of theory beforehand with other stuff outside of Bad Batch, like when Mandalorian Season 3 was really kicking off, and we got to see who rescued Grogu from the Jedi Temple. That was one of the biggest theories. Thinking that maybe Cal was able to make it. Or not Cal specifically would make it, but like Cal would be part of Grogu's like rescue thing. And go somewhere from there. Or even, Grogu would be discovered by Cal in the future because of everything. Even Cal being at Luke's temple in Book of Boba Fett? Yeah, that's when that appeared.
Yeah. There's Sarah Junda. Oh, yeah. Does she have a name? Oh, yeah, she does, because she says she's the apprentice of Sarah Junda.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, because she even tells you don't trust Seer.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up, don't worry. I'll see it, I'll recognize it.
Yeah, out of these Star Wars games, I would say they're personally probably the most successful Star Wars games we've gotten out, not including. It depends, because the Star Wars Battlefront Trilla.
It was Trilla.
Trilla, okay. But I guess you could argue that the Star Wars Battlefront games were the EA ones were pretty successful, but I guess in a way, maybe partially, sort of. But you could also argue with the whole controversies with the microtransactions and all that stuff kind of held it back a bit as well. But, yeah. But I would say pretty much these are more of the games that I personally really enjoy. The story's interesting, the character's interesting. Where it's going, the time zone also is very interesting. It's like, as I said, it's after Order 66. A couple years after the Jedi Purge. So you're kind of seeing where Cal falls into this before, and I think they said in a video, it's like, I think this is like 14 years before Yavin 4, where they pretty much attack, pretty much they go and destroy the Death Star and stuff like that, the attack on Yavin 4 and whatnot. So it's in a just the beginnings, just shortly after the Empire kind of took over and everything, and they're still spreading their dominance across the galaxy and everything.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting where it is. Time frame, which is cool. Cal is also an awesome character. No offense, all the characters are very interesting, and they have all personalities and stuff. And you can kind of relate to the characters. They're not just very flat characters or anything like that, where they're just one-dimensional. And you don't. I guess you could kind of say maybe some of the Night Sisters, but that's just kind of their character in general.
Yeah, at the end of the day, those are bad guys.
Yeah.
You don't need necessarily love a bad guy.
Yeah.
So it's fine to give in to that.
But yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, one of the better parts about being able to play the video games is you actually get a lot more characterization typically from playing the video game than you would necessarily a 6-episode series. Like, we can take a look at some of the characters from even Book of Boba Fett. It's only gotten one season. It didn't get, an entire fan base from it, you know. Which is really sad. You know, we didn't get to enjoy it as well. But the games itself, they're well-rounded enough that you don't have to worry about the character development coming in Season 2. You don't need to worry about waiting to give a damn about a character. Like, it is given to you. Or you progress to earn it, you know. Progress to know it. All the waiting is just however long you want to invest into it. And with that said, there's definitely a lot, you know, to still expand upon going forward. The way that even Jedi Survivor, you know, ends. Actually, you know, I'll back up. The way Jedi Survivor ends. Not Survivor. No.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, I've got mixed around. Yeah, the way Fallen Order even ended.
Oh, it was great. I loved it.
So again, spoilers, but Cal Kestis has found a Jedi holocron. Jedi holocron, the little, God, they're the cubic ones, if I'm right.
Yeah, holocrons. Holocrons,
well, yeah. Because there's also a Sith one, not in those games, but you know. But he gets access to a Jedi holocron. Mind you, this is after Order 66. This is something that has the knowledge of all potential younglings alive in the world at the time.
Younglings, yep.
You know, it sets up like Cal is, you know, it seems like he's destined to help these kids, you know? And the best part about that ending is just the fact that Cal destroys... He just destroys the holocron. You know, this, like, Jedi relic, you know, relic of a forgotten time now. He just destroys it outright. And it's all... So that information never falls into the wrong hands. Like, the Inquisitors are absolutely at large. Why even subject them to that same torture that he kind of goes through that first game? You know, not that he goes through torture, per se, just... He had to kind of be on the run the whole time. Why give anyone an advantage on trying to be able to hunt these kids? You know, no one needs to know. No one needs to know.
Exactly. Yes.
And that's what kind of sets up, like, okay, that was an interesting choice for the end of the game. Where do we go from there? And hence Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, Jedi Survivor. Yes.
And go on his own.
And I like it because, if we're talking about Jedi Survivor, I like how it's not like right after what happened. It's kind of a time jump a little bit. Cal's doing his own thing. His whole crew's kind of split up that he gathers, brings together in Fallen Order. And you kind of learn about their stories, what's happened to them over the period of time. I'm playing in the background some Jedi Survivor gameplay.
Is that in the live stream?
Yeah, it's like right behind our
hell yeah
beautiful faces.
I never did see. You never did send me like what the final product was for what Christina was making.
Oh, you'll have to check it out. I'll have to send you a link to the thing. You'll have to watch it. But yeah,
hell yeah,
to do that. But yeah, so it's a good series. Kyle's a really cool character. He evolves. Well, I guess we should talk about some of the characters he meets along the way. His pals, his crew. It kind of makes more sense to do that. I think the first person he meets. First
one we've already mentioned.
Yeah. See,
initially, like at the beginning of the first game, Cal is confronted by Inquisitors looking for a potential Jedi working on Bracca, the Scrapper planet.
someone snitched. That's what happened. So, or they probably sensed something or something like that to find out where Cal was, because at the beginning of the game, you got to realize Cal, he kind of like what happened with kind of Obi-Wan in a way. He kind of like separated himself from the Force. Didn't he separate himself from the Force in the series in a way?
I don't believe so at all necessarily. He stopped using it, yes, but that's just for safety, security.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any like true detachment from the Force.
Well, Cal.
I don't think there ever is.
Well, I guess technically that's kind of how Cal did. He kind of.
That's just going into hiding.
Yeah. Well, I guess. Well, the thing is, Cal, like, I don't even think Cal really even knew he was a Jedi, though, or he could have forgot. Like, so he kind of like.
Oh, I did. I just say that because the only like. This is where games can be tricky, folks.
Yeah.
I think the only reason you have forgotten is just because you play the game, you don't know all of his training.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of because obviously he hasn't been training like a Jedi since he went to hiding.
Yeah.
And the whole point of the game is to kind of like uncover that past, uncover what happened, how you survived Order 66 in that first game. What came of your master afterward. Like, there's a whole story you can dive into there.
I do think them implementing your Force powers, like your Force abilities and stuff in the game like that, through you remembering training stuff that your master taught you, was really cool and very innovative. Yeah. I'm not going to lie, it did make the game hard at certain points because you were limited on what kind of Force abilities you could use compared to the second game where you had all of them.
Well, which that's where it leans into what I was saying before. Like, it's a great sequel game.
Yeah.
Like, you don't feel like you're starting over like some games do when it's a sequel.
They find a way to start you over, like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed. Like, now you're just a whole nother person. You don't have all these gadgets you acquired in the first game. Or you're not even that person.
I was gonna say, like, they always find a reason to like get rid of all your stuff because like you're so powerful at the end of the Assassin's Creed game, and then the next game you go in, they're like, yeah, all that power and stuff you have, it's all gone. You get to start from scratch again. And you're like, God damn it. But I guess if you didn't do that, then there really wouldn't be a game. It'd be a little easier. So I understand the whole aspect of them doing that. But yeah. So yeah, and then he also meets what's his name, the driver of the ship.
Grease Karga.
Yeah, Grease Karga.
Not Karga, just Grease.
Grease.
I don't remember his last name. I'm thinking of Grief Karga.
Yeah, but Grease, yeah, he's a cool guy. He has a very amazing personality, and I really do like him. He's like that.
Feels like an Italian father.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's like that father figure that's like you never had. It's like that father that like is always trying to look out for the best of you. He's a really cool guy. Really appreciate his character. He's kind of like that father for Cal in a way.
It's funny, you see him and you're thinking like, this guy's sleaze. This guy's gonna like sell me for drugs.
And then he's just like, you meet him when he just starts talking to you, and they're like, oh, this guy seems pretty cool. I'm gonna put my guard down. Yeah, so.
It never got that bad, Andre. Let's be real.
Well, you gotta think about it. Think about it like, from Cal's perspective. Like, you literally meet these two people, or you meet this one person that's like, hey, come with us. You join them because these Inquisitors are chasing you. Wouldn't you kind of feel a little, about, like, just these people you met?
They're literally saving you from the alternative of dying.
Yes, but what if they're doing it just to sell you back to the Empire?
I don't think this isn't Jedi Old Republic or whatever. I'm not worried about that.
Well, yeah, I'm not worried about that either. But I'm just trying to look at it from that kind of perspective, But yeah,
no, dude, there wouldn't be a game, man. Wouldn't be a game.
There wouldn't be a game. I know. I was just looking for that twisty ending, where the people you were working with were betray you at the last minute, and you're like, damn it. I knew these people. I couldn't trust them. But, yeah. So you meet those two characters. You go on a mission. You meet a Night Sister, which you think, with all the Night Sisters, you think they're all dead, which is really surprising that there's still a couple alive. But I guess you can also say, well, if you watch the Tales of the Empire, you know of one of them that does survive.
Yeah.
So, but there's another one. And Mira, I think is her name, if I'm thinking correctly.
Marin,
yeah. Marin. And she is the love interest through the game.
No, I don't think she is in the first one. In the second one, she's absolutely. I think Cal's a little infatuated with her in the first, but I don't think that makes her a love interest.
I think he had feelings for her. She's pretty cool. She uses her Night Sister magic. But this is kind of where you meet her, and she still believes in her ways of I don't even know what technically you would call it, the dark side in a way, but it's not really considered the dark side. It's their own, like,
tapping into the Force in a sense.
Yeah, her own ways, I guess, is the best way. I'm just trying to think of a way to explain it without, like, it being so simple like that. But yeah, but pretty much her stuff.
It's magic. Like, that's the best way probably to explain it.
Yeah. And she does not like Cal at first.
No, she does not.
And
she thought the Night Sisters and Jedi are kind of
not friends.
Different. Yeah. Like, they bastardized the Force, whereas Night Sisters' magic is just like life in general. You know, they don't need it.
I don't need it. But yeah.
You don't need it. Stop relying on it.
But I don't want to. And of course, and in the game you do go to Dathomir, but I think you go to each planet like at least I think it's 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point is that you're gonna go to a planet. That's not gonna be the last time you visit that planet.
So
either
you
have collectibles you haven't gotten yet, or you have things yet to discover in terms of like world events. And more than likely, you're also missing a story beat. You know, you'll come back for another story beat or so.
Yes.
That's the case with a lot of games. You know.
Oh yes, indeed. Oh man, I'm tired. I'm sorry. It's rough coming back from Memorial Day weekend and then having to get back in the groove of stuff again. 3-day weekend, man. Yeah, it's been rough for me.
I forgot laid off, but yeah.
Nah, actually, I didn't even hear nothing about that, which was really surprising. But back to the point, though. We're not talking about my life. We're talking about Cal's life in Jedi's.
This man's life.
Maybe. If you guys ask questions, maybe I can. But, yeah, so there's a lot of parkouring in it. As you can see on the screen, Cal's kind of doing some parkour, jumping. But yeah, he's pretty cool guy. But yeah, so I think the first time you go to Dathomir, she doesn't join you. I think it's the second time you go to Dathomir, she finally actually joins you guys in your quest, if I'm remembering correctly.
I have no idea. It's been too long.
It's been such a long time. I really don't remember. But yeah, she pretty much joins you after a while is what's important. And she doesn't really use any of her abilities, like her witch abilities. She uses them more in the second game. She will join you. Like in the game, you can also take like a companion with you. If I'm remembering correctly, you can take somebody with you.
What? In the first game?
First game, I thought you could.
No.
Is it all just by yourself?
They didn't add companionship until the second game.
Was it the second game? Okay.
Yeah.
So then, no. Well, you do have a companion, though. You have BD1.
Well, yes, but he's part of your player abilities anyway.
Yeah, I know. He's like your health and key to open stuff. But, yeah, you meet BD1 pretty early in the game as well. and you guys kind of form your bond together. So.
Yeah, Seer has Cal investigate like a Jedi temple, and that Jedi temple is what leads you to finding BD-1.
And BD-1's like, hey, can we be friends?
Under the teachings of Seer's old master, Cordova.
Cordova. You get...
Cordova.
Cordova? Duva?
Yeah.
Dova. Like
Dova.
Dova King? Dova King. Yeah. But yeah, there's some cameos in the game as well, from characters if you're a Star Wars fan, like Obi-Wan, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know that he was.
I think he was in like a holocron.
Oh, he might have been right there at the end.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was encoded into the message.
The only reason I know is because I was watching a little recap and they bring it up, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess there was Obi-Wan there, wasn't it? I'm like, yeah.
I think it was just audio, though.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm like, oh, hey, it'd be cool to see him in animation again.
Yeah. He was he was like a holocron, so he really wasn't anything. Then, of course, you have, in this time period, of course, you have to have Darth Vader. He has his own little cameo. The one thing with this game is that you will always have a Darth Vader fight every time, or Darth Vader will show up, if I remember correctly. First.
I don't think that's entirely true, but sure, go with it.
The second game, I know you do fight him. The first game, I thought you did fight him. I thought there was a fight with him.
There is.
So you do fight Darth Vader in both games.
These games, but when you're saying like in every game, like in the future there's going to be one too. I don't know about that one, Chief.
I think there will be.
If it's going to be how Cal dies.
And that's okay. Cal lived a good life.
Mind you, folks, unfortunately, Cal is definitely youthful enough that we should see him technically in the sequel series, the sequel saga.
The sequel saga.
Obviously, Cal's not there. Mind you, he was a property made after Force Awakens. But, Rey had a lot of conversation with everyone. And especially Episode 9, which I think Fallen Order was out before Episode 9 was. So, Cal could have been there.
As a Force ghost, but he wasn't.
Yeah, he could have been one of the voices. Hell, they even had Kanan Jarrus there.
That's cool.
But they didn't have Cal.
So Cal's still alive.
That also begs the question: where's Cal in the First Order? Which I think would be a really cool plot point next. Even to just kind of sideline everything else and put us into the future where he's part of the First Order, or not part of the First Order, but in the First Order timeline.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could see Cal trying to do that, though. Maybe that was the tease we were getting in Survivor, when you see Cal dress up as an officer for the Empire. Imagine him doing that and, being, a Fulcrum agent in the First Order.
That would be pretty cool. It'd be interesting.
Yeah. Only difference being, I'm pretty sure he physically can't. Because if I remember right, part of the lore for First Order is that they cloned. And that's what made it. They're not even, they're born into the First Order. That's why Finn doesn't have a name, he has a number. That's why he's FN2187. Not Finn, not anything special.
Traitor! Yep.
So that's why I don't know if Cal could be actually part of the First Order, but dude, that'd be so cool.
I don't know. I can't see him doing that, though, for his character.
Well, I mean, but Andre, I'm not saying he's going to be a fucking villain. I'm saying he's going to be, inside of it. General, or not General Hux, but, what the fuck's his name? Callus was in Star Wars Rebels.
Okay, yeah.
Callus is definitely more evil, but like, you know, we have a spy inside the Empire. Or in this case, we can have one inside the First Order.
Yes.
That's what I'm alluding to. You know, him playing into that role, and mind you, where he's kind of gotten in touch with his dark side, especially in the second game. I would love to see them like build upon that. You know, this is another part of what I wanted to do today with this. Kind of speculate, like, what's next for Cal.
Okay.
He's got, mind you, again, folks, major spoilers, so heads up. He's got Bode's daughter in tow with him because Bode was an asshole, you know.
Yes, he was.
And so, you know, what's the future with her? Is she a Jedi prospect, or is she just like gonna be our next next enemy? You know, we have a dark side child on our side for the time being. Is Cal going to be able to circumvent the dark side, or is he going to have to end up embracing it a little bit more? Kind of like the Guardians in Destiny with, darkness. Like, they have to kind of give in to both sides with that. Is he going to have to kind of get into both sides? Or is that just, like, part of who he is now? Is he just part dark side, whether he likes to admit it or not? Because, what's it called? Even, like, Mace Windu, you know?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was part of the lore that went with purple sabers that they made later. That those are the kind of Force users that have tapped into both sides. And so, mind you, Mace was never a bad guy. He was definitely a brutal man. You know, like, he would not hesitate to kind of throw you up against a wall with his Force powers.
You know, pick you up with the Force, throw you around a little bit.
Might not be out of malicious intent like Vader would, you know, where he'd like fucking hold you and choke you and all that stuff. But would Mace hold back if you're like an enemy? I don't think so. I don't think he would at all.
I think he would.
I know there's more like in-depth stuff with Mace, and apologies if we don't really go into it. But I know there's a lot with Mace's character. Like, it is a very brutal style that he indulges.
Like, even if you want to, you could get into some other characters that technically have Force abilities that are considered the dark side, but they kind of lean into that. It just depends on how you use them, compared to like if you use it, you're a Sith Lord. Like Mace Windu, I think even Mace Windu kind of knows how to like use. I don't know if that's 100% true, but I think. Because he knows how to do, like, probably, I would assume, like, Force Lightning and stuff as well.
I wouldn't be too surprised.
But
okay, maybe I would, just because, he wasn't able to channel it or any of that with, how his died.
Yeah.
But, again, I know he can be much more brutal. He can definitely tap into both sides if he damn well pleases. And I'm pretty sure that was a huge point that came up after Survivor, was finished, people were talking about it, was that Cal is technically the only other Jedi who would qualify for a purple saber. Which is fitting, because he can obviously equip a purple saber.
Yep. Customization.
Yeah. I love customization.
Which, talking about that, games that actually kind of let you do the same thing are older Star Wars games. Star Wars, the Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. Kind of can customize your character's lightsaber color. Also, kind of what kind of style you want to do. Two lightsabers, stuff kind of like that. But in the game, the reason I bring it up, since we're talking about Mace Windu and stuff, is that in the game, the main character in the game, and his name completely passes me. Give me a second.
You're on your own there.
I'll have to look it up. But pretty much in the game, when you're playing a Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Academy, pretty much your teacher, because the whole story arc, pretty much of the character, I have to find out his name really fast, but pretty much the whole story is that pretty much he kind of was a Jedi. He fell to the dark side, so he knows how to use dark abilities, but he was able to come back to the light side. And pretty much the whole premise of what he teaches you because in Jedi Academy, you're pretty much a Jedi or a gifted student that knows Force abilities and stuff. And your teacher is the guy who's the main character in the whole trilogy. He's your teacher now. So he comes to you and he's like, hey, the whole point of like every kind of like Force ability, lightning, choke, yeah, it might be like considered Sith because a lot of Sith users use it, but it's your intent with it. Now, I don't know if that's technically canon with the Jedi Star Wars stuff, like the movies and stuff. I don't know if that's technically canon, but in the games, like, because these are really old games, these are like on the original Xbox, so you can imagine how old these games are. With that being said, pretty much that's kind of the whole intent of it. So that's kind of how I would assume is kind of how it works.
See, I would definitely say it's still allowed, at least to some regard, if not only for the fact that Anakin still uses a lot of these abilities. Like, he definitely has choked people with his abilities.
And he kind of
while he
murdered.
No, I mean, he does in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
He uses it, and it's not like anyone's against it,
Everyone's like, whoa,
mind you,
whoa, calm down.
A slap on the wrist is not anything to really, like, brag about for him, especially.
Yeah.
But it's not shunned upon. And I believe, actually, even in Tales of the Jedi, we went over. Dooku, at one point, even uses a choke ability in, Qui-Gon, when Qui-Gon's the apprentice, remember?
Yes.
He's talking to, the locals.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure he force chokes one of them, and Qui-Gon's like, Master, calm down.
Yes. So the character I was talking about from the Star Wars Jedi Knight series of games, his name is Kyle Katarn. Kyle Katarn.
Ah.
Yeah.
I now know who you're talking about.
Katarn.
Kyle Katarn.
Yeah, Katarn. Yeah. He's a really cool character. I said the only games I played were the Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast and then Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Academy. I sadly the other games are all only on PC. They're not on the consoles. So,
I know Katarn only from Galaxy of Heroes.
Yeah,
Talk about Galaxy of Heroes, where like Barasafi being a healer, being a support, then her just randomly being one in Tales of the Empire.
Exactly, but yeah. So he pretty much, I said his whole arc, because the only reason I found it is because I kind of watched some videos about it because I thought it was kind of interesting, his whole character. But yeah, like he pretty much falls. He kind of rich kid joins the Empire as a soldier. He kind of realizes what's going on. It's kind of fucked up, so he kind of joins the rebellion. He meets Jan, which is the girl he kind of likes, falls in love with her. Through just like coincidences of just running into her, really, to be honest. They both joined the rebellion, and he pretty much had a whole arc of how he became a Jedi, lost his way, and then pretty much came back to it. Almost fell to the dark side again. Spoiler, because he thinks Jan was killed. So he kind of goes into a murderous rampage of trying to find the person that killed her, but finds out that she's still alive and completely like lets go of all of his anger. But yeah, it's a really interesting story. Kyle Katarn is a really cool guy. But yeah, back to the point though. So pretty much like what we're talking, Cal. Pretty much he technically could be evil because he kind of learned some of his abilities and stuff. But it as I said, just depends on the circumstance and just what happens and if it drives him to hate and anger, which is kind of the fine line. So I think that's kind of interesting, especially with a Jedi user who does know how to use both sides. I think it's like very hard because you have to be able to not let the anger and hate control you. The fine line, and that's kind of what those Force abilities feed off of, is anger and hate. So it's like you're on a tightrope, man. You're like literally on both sides, and just one wrong step, you could fall straight into being a Sith Lord or to the dark side. So it's really interesting. So do you think Cal will kind of have an arc maybe where he does kind of go to the dark side a little bit in the next game, and then maybe turns away from it last minute? Redemption, if you will. Pardon?
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you had more you were going.
No, that's it.
Yeah, no, with Cal going into the dark side, I don't know, because I definitely think he does kind of come out of it by the end of the game, but I don't think that's where any of us want to end with it.
Yeah. Of course.
I feel like there's definitely something that we can do there. It's just, I don't know where they're going to play it. Like I said, I'm kind of all for more of a time jump again, where they kind of did already. Not that we need to split the group again, because I think there's obvious reasons why Merrin and Cal don't need to be splitting up now.
Yeah, they're kind of...
something happened. Mind you, folks, yes, they are in a relationship now.
That's what we wanted, baby! From the first game, that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that. That's the couple everyone wanted.
Yeah. No, I mean, it really is. Merrin's great. Cal's great. Why not? Why not have both of them?
Because she isn't technically... She still just uses her witch abilities. She doesn't do... She isn't a Jedi. I think it'd be kind of interesting if she actually kind of trains to be a Jedi a little bit, but still has her witch abilities as well.
I don't know about that. I just feel like she's much more devoted towards the cause. Not necessarily like how Morgan is. But I feel like she's definitely more on the path to maybe try and revitalize her own people. And mind you, that's something they both share. They're both survivors of their respective cults in a way.
Massacres.
And yes, I do say cults for Jedi.
After their cults were massacred.
Yeah.
Hers, General Grievous, and the droid army, and Cal, it was Anakin and pretty much the clone troops, Order 66, pretty much. Yeah. So yeah, but that's the thing. You think about it. Let's think about it as technically, they're both really kind of bonding over a really traumatic thing that's happened to both of them.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
So it's good, but it could be bad in a way. But
I don't know, because here's the thing: that's usually a toxic relationship.
Yes.
Both parties are involved. No, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Because where that becomes toxic is if both of them share the same traumatic experience. You watched iCarly, right?
Yeah.
We're young. We're using this as an example. When Freddy gets hit by the car.
Mm-hmm.
He pushes Carly out of the way and he gets hit by a car instead. It becomes toxic because she's just hooked on him because he's her savior.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes toxic. Because can that feeling really carry the entire relationship? Or is that something that's going to fade?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, with this is something they both went through. This is something they've individually gone through. This isn't something that necessarily needs to be done to. This isn't something that needs to be done to each of them in order for them to really relish this pain. I'm trying to find my words here. But it's going to be a lot better, that they've gone through this separately. Not that they've gone through the same slaughter, Like, we don't need two Jedi falling in love because both of their peoples were slaughtered, That's not what we need. Yes, another great way to play it is, I know there's a lot of people who, why people, get married, get divorced, and find new partners. They're gonna find a partner who has been through, more than likely, another divorce than finding someone who's never been in love. That's something they can both bond with, and that's a pain that they can both kind of share in that regard.
See.
Like, they've both been through bad relationships once, they don't want to be hurt again. You marry someone new who's not in the game, who doesn't know what makes a relationship toxic, and it becomes an obstacle. Once again, for more than likely both parties, really.
Yeah.
So, again, it's great for Cal and Marin to have this bond
that we've been waiting for. Yeah. So, and then I'm guessing both of them are going to probably take care of
the kid.
Yeah, the kid, Boba's kid.
Absolutely. I mean, to be fair, it's them and pretty much Uncle Grease.
Yeah, because spoiler.
Got Grease?
No, Ciri dies.
Oh, okay.
She dies to the hands of Darth Vader. So, as I said, there's another Darth Vader fight, but this time you lose somebody pretty important to you in the fight. The first fight, you fight Darth Vader, you escape. I'm trying to remember what happens. I think it was...
I'm pretty sure you don't actually fight. I think it's just cinematic, but Cere's the one who stops it.
Yeah.
So, even if there is a fight moment, it's like Cal is not ready. This is not happening. Cere stops the fight and gets Cal out.
Yeah.
And that's just it. You run.
Yeah.
This is the point where Cere fights Vader.
And loses, sadly.
Yes. Mind you, I think that's the most damage we've ever seen Vader take. Even when Vader fought Ahsoka in Rebels. He didn't take that much damage.
What about Starkiller, man? Starkiller did some damage to Vader.
You're saying one talking canon? Stuff that's actually happened?
Okay.
Because mind you, Jedi Survivor Fallen Order, that's official canon. I just want it acknowledged by the rest of the Star Wars universe. Kind of like Eternals in Marvel.
Oh yeah, I forget about Eternals. Eternals is just like.
I absolutely love Eternals because they brought in one of my favorite. It's a fear of mine, an absolute terror of mine to see something like a Celestial on Earth.
Like Celestial Nighthawk.
But that's a whole nother thing. Oh, shut up. Not Celestial Nighthawk.
Celestial Nighthawk. Okay. We'll have to discuss something before we end the podcast about next episode, which is going to be interesting. I would like to do this, but no, not yet. But I was just thinking of something. It just came to mind. But yeah, so you lose pretty much he lost his, I guess technically, his new master in a way.
He lost pretty much his master.
Yeah, really. His master. Yeah, because I was saying she kind of took the master role for Cal since after Order 66.
Yeah. I see why it's new master.
That's what I was saying, because technically he still remembers his master and kind of learned from memory of what happened, but I'm pretty sure she kind of taught him more, and she was still kind of trying to work and trying to find more Jedi and stuff, and they worked together a bit before he kind of went and did his own thing. So, yeah.
It's definitely a much different dynamic between them and his original master.
Yes.
That's very true.
And
it's really not fair to even like say that he cared for his original master like he does with Seer.
Yeah.
Seer's a whole nother story.
They're pretty much like a family, man. Like, even though like she's technically his master, but they're a lot closer. Now, as I said, we don't know what Cal's relationship with his old master that we see in the Jedi Fallen Order. We just see flashbacks of him learning and stuff, and like some banter between them. But it's like what you said, it's completely different.
We don't know how he was picked to be his mentor. We don't know how compatible they were. You know, for all we know, it could just be like, you are the one who will train this boy. Why? Who knows? Okay, like it could have been that simple.
Yeah, we don't know if they like outside of just training and stuff, they went and got like a hot dog or something, or something, and like talked about stuff.
No, if anything, I believe when it comes to it, they typically like base it off of a like shared trauma. In a sense, they're not shared trauma, but you know, like why Qui-Gon was supposed to be the one to train Anakin, but then when Qui-Gon died, it became Obi-Wan's task. Not only because Obi-Wan was Qui-Gon's apprentice originally, but because Obi-Wan was also there, you know?
Yeah, and Qui-Gon made him promise him to train Anakin.
Yes.
So, before he died. So, and he's like, I'll do it.
So, again, I see a lot of that in there. I'd like to think that maybe it's like more of a Mandalorian situation where in Mando's story, he was rescued by Mandos. You know, he was rescued from a droid invasion by Mandalorians, and that's how he became a Mandalorian. You know, his mentor was kind of his fellow Mandalorians in that case. Maybe he was rescued by, you know, a Jedi during something, and that's how.
Yeah.
Maybe his mom and dad sold him, and he's just like an orphan.
Sold him for booze.
I mean, we don't know. That could be a whole other thing. You know, it'd be really cool to see Cal's like actual past explored with his dark side. You know, did his parents give up on him? Is that an avenue we can explore? Is his dad or mom still alive? You know, like there is stuff there. You know, just gotta depend on whether people want to see it or not.
I just think personally, it's probably what happened with like kind of every Jedi youngling, pretty much, is that they were just taken from their parents.
That could be very true, but you know, we know a lot of younglings who also have had the unfortunate circumstance of their parents have died.
Yeah. Exactly. Which is kind of dark if you think about it. Like I said, like Jedi, like even though they are like good, you know, they're shining beacon of goodness, they do have dark sides to them. Like as I said, like taking kids from their parents and stuff just because they have a Force ability.
Yeah, that's where like Jedi, you know, everyone wants to see themselves as a good guy. Everyone wants to see themselves like a Jedi and be a noble kind of dude and all. But the problem lies therein that even the Jedi have their own negative aspects. You know, like detachment from all that you hold dear. You know, kind of like same thing with Aang in Avatar: The Last Airbender. You know, he has to break free of his earthly tether in order to really give in and be an Avatar.
Don't you mean like Ong?
Shut the fuck up.
No.
Leave. We'll end this at 6:08 p.m.
That's okay.
You know?
No, but yeah, it's interesting to see where things are going to go forward with the series and everything, and how Cal's going to form, what's going to happen to Bo-Katan's child. Probably going to become a Jedi is what I'm assuming. What Cal's going to do since...
Hold on. Who?
No, I'm thinking Bo-Katan. I'm thinking someone...
You just said
Bo-Katan.
The Mandalorian series.
Yes, I did.
Excuse the fuck?
What did you just say?
Yeah, was her child? When the fuck did she have a kid?
Just now, didn't you hear? It's in a book, locked away.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that.
I wouldn't be either, to be honest. No, but
That's for the worst.
Siri Junda, since she kind of was running the Jedi Order kind of, or what was left of it, kind of in a way, I'm guessing Cal's gonna probably be taking over that role.
Oh, I don't see that at all.
Then who do you think's gonna take over the role then?
No, I don't think anyone. That wasn't a Jedi Order.
Well, a Jedi was trying to find, yeah.
Oh, okay. Going back to the beginning of this podcast, Andre.
Yeah.
The only thing that maybe has any semblance of connection is the path, which is, finding homes for refugees from, the Empire.
Yeah.
Finding a way to be away from the Empire. That's the whole thing that Seer's doing. She's just doing that. She's not trying to start up a whole new Jedi Order. In which, I think even Star Wars acknowledges that, you don't want all these different people trying to start the Jedi Order,
Why not?
Well, because that's going to lead to different teachings, and that could lead to civil war, and, how...
You mean like the Catholic faith?
Sure, yeah.
That's a good comparison,
that's
but...
That's probably a very, very good comparison.
But let's not get into anything about religion, because I feel like that's going to upset people. But yeah, let's get back to the point.
Fucking infuriate a lot of people, I feel like.
Yeah, but it's like...
what kind of... You've stepped into a war with the Cabal on Mars.
But that's kind of a good comparison, if you want to think about it like in a real life kind of way.
That's a great comparison.
Which, actually, I'm surprised nothing like that has ever really happened, though, if you think about it.
I wouldn't say nothing has ever happened, because I'm pretty sure there have been... God, I'm trying to think of the... Wasn't there, an entire massacre on the town because, they were all Baptist and the Christian community?
No. Let's not, no. We're not talking about religion. We're talking about, in the Star Wars universe. We're not getting into that. Yeah, I'm saying in the Star Wars world, there's always been, one person that's been trying to restart the Jedi Order. I don't think there's ever been, multiple people being like, hey, I'm starting a Jedi Order over here, and someone else is like, hey, I'm starting a Jedi Order over here, kind of thing.
Well, I mean, they're definitely not going to be a communicated network, that's for damn sure.
Well, yeah, because they have to keep it secret. But I don't think we've ever seen something like that where we've had, two different Jedi Orders starting, because Luke did his.
What I'm saying is more like Kanan and Ezra, Kanan and Ezra, I feel like was a much more loose connection that even would have allowed for stuff like, more Obi-Wan's teachings, where it's you can have love, you can have connection, it just doesn't need to be an unhealthy obsession. You know?
Yes.
There can be good semblance for love in a person's life, it just doesn't need to be extreme. Whereas someone like Luke, I feel like he was much more, I won't say violent, violent's not the right word, but he was much more adamant against any form of connection. Because, even with Grogu, it's okay, do you want to love this Mandalorian? It's your fucking father? Or do you want to become a Jedi? See, I never see that as a fair choice. But I think that's a good example of the different teachings. If we ever get a point where we get to see Ezra interact with Luke, I feel like there's gonna be some conflict there. Maybe we will eventually build up to that civil war,
Yeah. Yes.
But I do feel like there's, unfortunately, a big potential for disaster with everyone's different teachings. and see where we're at right now. Again, I don't see Cal being like a whole new
Jedi
Order. Yeah, I don't see that happening.
I want Cal to meet Luke in the next game.
That would be really fun. But I feel like at this point, because they're talking about doing possibly like a Luke series with Mara Jade and all, because I know that's something that's coming up.
Oh wait, really?
I mean, that's something that's been on the back burner for forever, it seems like. But they've talked about Mara Jade will come to TV and movie. Just it's a slow burn. Like when?
When?
Don't know. But
where?
It's cooking. For all we know, they're in the writing stage, which means there's no casting yet. There's no definitive answer, script, release date, none of it. It's just writing stage.
Okay. I'm curious to see how they're going to bring her in, to be honest.
Yeah.
Especially after reading the books, the original. For me, if you guys don't know, I've read the Heir to the Empire, Thrawn, the original Thrawn trilogy. So I kind of learned a little bit more about Mara Jade, who she is as a character, and how her and Luke kind of built their relationship together. So I'm very curious to see how Disney's going to take Mara Jade and implement her into their Star Wars lore canon thing. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm very curious to see how that's going to happen. And I'm curious to see who they're going to cast as Mara Jade. Voice actor or live action, I'm very curious.
I want to say it would probably be live action just so they can be a bit more, I don't want to say inclusive, that's not right, but show a little more of the romance.
Well, okay, so back to your previous statement saying that, how Luke was you with Grogu, taking Grogu away from Mando saying, hey, you have to be a Jedi or not. If Mara Jade and Luke in the Legends, they fell in love and stuff and everything. Yeah. I feel like with Luke, if it happens, I don't know if it's gonna happen in canon. In the Legends, I'm assuming he was very okay, I got to do it just like how they kind of did it, kind of try to do the Jedi, make the Jedi Temple, Jedi rebuild it and everything, like how the Jedi did back, before Order 66. But then I think he kind of loosened his grip a bit. I'm not including the sequels and stuff like that. The Disney sequels, no, I'm not including those. But I feel he loosens his grip over time and everything, and kind of learns from mistakes and stuff like that.
I think it's actually really important to focus on the sequels right now.
Okay.
Especially in the moment, because I feel like that really shapes where he's at as an old man. Where he is as old man Luke. He could absolutely be influenced by potentially the death of Mara Jade. Maybe the reason he's kind of such a hard ass like he is because of Mara Jade, because of losing Mara Jade. Now, how do we go from this somber old man that would be willing to train anybody to throwing his own lightsaber off a fucking cliff
and drinking
blue milk almost straight from the other? Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. Yep.
But I mean, honestly, that's a fun choice anyway. But how do you show that change? Because obviously, it feels like two very different Luke Skywalkers.
The hopeful.
Between Episode 6 and
the brave.
Episode 8 or 7. When we see that.
Yeah.
Not 7. It was 8. I was right.
It was 8. Yeah. Yeah.
So again, if we get Mara Jade, we lose Mara Jade. I feel like that helps ease us into what we got. You know what I mean? And I know that was something even Filoni talked about, where it's not I'm going to redo the sequels. That's I don't think that is ever the intent. I think the intent was
I wish they
I'm
would.
going to justify the sequels more so. I feel like there's a lot of potential there that really just needs clarified, because otherwise it makes no sense. It feels like it's written to shit. And mind you, it was. The fact that we're this far down the line time-wise, and this is how we get our answer. This is how we finally come to terms with this story. That's not good. That's not great.
Yeah.
Kind of like how everyone felt about the prequels. I don't think the prequels were bad. Looking back on it, in the moment, I can see why people will call it bad.
Yes.
It's got to age like fine wine. And I can say the same thing for like Mass Effect. Mass Effect 1. If I go back and look at the gameplay, go back and look at the style, it's the exact same thing Andromeda was. The difference is Andromeda Mass Effect 1 got 2 more games after it, and that's part of what made Mass Effect so great, because it was continued progression.
And then BioWare got shut down.
And then, well, no, BioWare did not get shut down.
No, they didn't.
It didn't. BioWare is still very much alive. Subsequent companies of BioWare are shut down now.
Okay, yeah, sure. That's what it was, yeah.
But not BioWare. BioWare is not gone.
For now.
I mean, they're still working on Mass Effect 5.
I hope they don't get shut down, but... I hope they don't get shut down, but...
fucking not. I will be... Like, dude... Activision, EA, I'm at their throat next, if that's the case.
I said, yeah, especially just with everything that's been going on, just with gaming companies getting shut down left or right, especially with like Tango. Well, we're getting off topic, but back to the point, pretty much. But yeah, it's very interesting. So we hope there will be another Jedi game, but with EA and just gaming in general, it might get shut down. The company that's working on it, Respawn, we don't know. Respawn is in talks that they are still working on it, but we never know. Respawn might get shut down for, I don't know, cost-cutting reasons or something. And that'd really suck, especially with this story that a lot of people like and enjoy. Even though it did have, I know Jedi Survivor did have some rough launch issues, especially on PC with it not being optimized that well. But it was still a very good game and did get good praises for the story and stuff and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Generally, everyone pretty much liked it. Yeah, there were some issues and stuff, which I think is the thing. If you create a good game, even though it might have like bugs and issues, I'm not trying to justify what they did or anything, but it can still shine and be a great game that people will enjoy. Like, you can even look at Cyberpunk 2077. That game was so broken when it launched. So broken. I bought it day one. Very disappointed, and I just waited till they patched and fixed a lot of it. But after they did patch and fix it, which took a long time, it was a very good game that I couldn't put down. I loved playing it every second, and I invested so much time into it.
I still need to go back and finish that.
You do. It's a good game. It really is. Great open world, great characters, and it's just great writing in general.
I wanted to get back after the DLC had come out. When I heard the DLC was coming out, I was like, I'm going to take a pause.
It was good. It was a good DLC, I'll tell you that. It was good.
I'll get into it eventually.
Yeah, it's a good game. Definitely check it out if you guys haven't played Cyberpunk 2077. The DLC is also worth it, too. It's a very good game. Good characters. Love interest. Very interesting. Very great. Very, very great game. But yeah, back to the point, though.
Going on your love interest. Yeah.
I'm not going into that. I already did the 2 love interests I cared about. I did one first time I played when before the DLC came out. And then when the DLC came out and they did a lot of the fixes, I replayed the game again and fell in love with my other love interest. So I was happy. With how everything ended with me and that. But yeah, good game though. I'm hoping they do make another Jedi game. I guess it's just Jedi, whatever they'll name it, Jedi, whatever they'll call it. But I guess the thing is, I kind of hope. I guess the thing is, I would have to ask you: do you want them to create more than 3 games? Do you want them to keep going as long as possible, or do you think just having a solid trilogy with Cal would
3
be...
has always been a magic number for
Yeah.
Star Wars. I think it'd be really difficult to keep going anyway, unless they do the whole timeline thing. In which, I don't mind if they do something like what God of War did. God of War had 1, 2, 3, and then they picked up for 4 and did, you know, the remake.
Remake of
where
it.
once again, set in the future, in a different time period, where obviously a lot of time has gone by. I feel like that, you know, plays to the advantage of the moment.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel the same way in a way, but I kind of feel like 3 is good. Like what you're saying, 3 is that good number. I would hate for them to...
Star Wars.
Yeah. I would hate for them to string it out longer than it needs to be. And then it's just, the story just isn't there. It's just not interesting enough. And that kind of thing. I think just doing Cal's story within 3 stories, if you want him to live on and go and do something else, maybe in a different game or whatever series, that's fine. But I do feel like just the trilogy would be a solid stopping point.
That's another thing I wanted to bring up earlier that I, you know, failed to. Part of the beauty that is, you know, just Jedi Survivor as a whole, and especially with even modern gaming, where a lot of the characters are based now off of the voice actor. Because I know that was something that came up a long time ago, where it's like, don't voice a character if you don't look like a character. You know, that's what people don't want, apparently. Which, you know, I find so weird. But with that being a new standard, especially with something in a shared media like Star Wars, you know, where it's got a bunch of different medias, it gives us the opportunity to bring live-action Cal with the same voice, with the same actor, without the you know, you don't need prosthetics at all. You know, like I think it can be a really beneficial thing for live action and for Cal's story. You know, if we only get 3 games, there's still a lot of potential and viability to just bring him into normal Star Wars media with TVs and movies. There is no need to keep going on with the game if you can continue his story. And I think that, again, that's where you can justify it. You know, do the 3 games, that gets you the story you want. But if the character doesn't die, you have the future of the TV series, the movies, and appearances to keep going off of. You know?
Definitely books.
You got that legacy you can still build on and work with.
Yeah. I know there was actually one book that did come out that was kind of the in-between time between Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, kind of what Cal was doing and everyone was. There's a book about it.
There's a book about it?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I
Yeah.
didn't hear anything about a book coming out for that.
The only reason I know is because I was watching a recap and they mentioned that, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So they do that. It's very interesting. I haven't read it. I don't know. I'll have to see if I can find it. Maybe I'll dabble in it a bit. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, it's a very interesting world we live in with Cal. And it'll be very interesting to see because I think they've already did some BD1 kind of droids in talking about like bringing them to like live action stuff. They've already kind of, I think, did some droids.
They've had a BD1 bot in the Mandalorian series.
Yeah,
That was not BD1.
They've also had some actually running around that weren't BD1, but they were running around Star Wars Galaxy Edge for like a special event. Like it wasn't something that you're gonna see regular. It was just like a once for like a limited amount of time.
Sure that's just to feed into the hype of it all, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's around the time the game was coming out. Maybe that's when it will like just come out, and you know everyone's like, "Oh my god,
it's a BD1! I'm gonna go buy one.
Go fucking insane! Yeah.
I'm gonna go buy one. $100, totally worth it." Nah, it's not. I heard the R2, if you want a full like a life-size R2-D2 that like remote controlled and stuff and everything, it was like $25,000.
It was what?
$25,000. Yeah.
I mean, you're going for a full model, like, decoy kind of shit. Like, you know.
Yeah.
That's pretty reasonable, actually.
25, that's still a lot of money, man.
It is a lot of money, you know.
As I said, you're also talking to somebody that's kind of cheapskate, don't really have that much. I'm not gonna lie, if I had like over $25,000 just laying around and I really wanted it, I probably would pick it up. But like, I definitely don't have that type of money laying around. So.
Oh yeah, I don't think anyone realistically does.
Rich people do, but I'm definitely not rich. So maybe one day. But yeah. But yeah, this game it's exciting to see kind of where this game will go, and if Cal will go into any kind of other other medias, movies, TV series. He's kind of already been in books, like I said. But yeah, it'll be kind of cool to see if he maybe goes into animated series or something. I don't know. Cameo in the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because I know they did that with like Mandalorian, Grogu.
I'm not surprised with those because again, you know, you have the live action prosthetics for that. You don't.
Yeah.
That I think another thing that would be really difficult, and you know, this is where it gets a little more. Yeah. When it comes to the live action potential.
Yes.
Is just before we have Cal. In Jedi Fallen Order, Cal has a very definitive look to him. Very young, he's red-haired,
scarred,
got some freckles, and he's got
scratch
poncho
on his nose. Oh yeah, ponchos.
He got the poncho. You know, the poncho was his most iconic thing. That's literally what he wears through the entire campaign.
And all those customizable ponchos.
In the second one, there's a much less definitive Cal Kestis. You know, it goes to however you want to customize him. He's got outfits. He's got, you know, blasters. You know, he's got a lot. He's got a lot of different things there he can customize, and it caters to you, the player. Whereas in the first game, it was more or less color saber do you want? That's it, folks. You know. With this second game coming out, I would be really curious how they would try and introduce a live-action Cal without, you know, same thing kind of like Commander Shepard. Commander Shepard has a default appearance for Mass Effect, and like that's the go-to. But I don't think Cal necessarily had a default to him. You know?
Yes.
Because even the poncho you have to earn later in the second game. To even like have that back.
I kind of realized playing through the old Star Wars Force Unleashed games, they kind of definitely took some. I feel like they did take some. What's the word I'm looking for? They took some inspiration from those games in a way, with like having the boss fights and everything. From Star Wars Force Unleashed. Like I said, it's not exactly the same, but like they definitely seemed like they definitely took some inspiration from those games. Yeah. Which is pretty cool. So it's like our modern version of Star Wars Force Unleashed in a way. Without like doing a remake. Because heaven knows, most of the Star Wars remakes we get, or remasters, they're hit or miss. Especially my beloved Star Wars Battlefront Classic Edition. Don't even get me started. Makes me upset. But I still have the old games, and I can still just pick them up and play them and stuff. But yeah. But it's almost about an hour and 30.
I was going to say, I don't know if there's really much longer with this one.
Nah, there isn't. There is not. But we will be back. Oh, actually, so we will be back next Monday.
That's weird. Yeah.
With our podcast again. Now, the thing I wanted to ask you, Spartan, is if, since there's a big game coming out, literally the next day after our podcast,
yes.
I didn't know if you wanted to kind of speculate, talk about that game specifically as like a special, I guess you'd call it our special edition to it. If you'd want to, or if we can definitely tackle more topics of the Star Wars.
I don't know, and folks, the game he's alluding to, but not saying, is Destiny.
Yes.
Destiny has the final shape coming out next week.
Yep.
That's where I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. If I really wanted to, like, be fun with it, they've done a lot of trailers. And in fact... Sorry, folks. The big thing that I would be like, we should break this down is the new trailer that came out today.
Yeah, we could do that.
It was a Lightfall reveal trailer. Or not Lightfall, Final Shape reveal trailer. And Andre, it's just full of cinematics. Absolutely plumb full of cinematics for the Final Shape.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that happens in it that's like, holy shit.
Now the question is if we do that, do you want me to not watch the trailer for, like, surprise, or would it be okay if I actually watch the trailer and then kind of like do it?
Watch it, because we'll probably just come in and like talk about it.
Okay.
Then, if we're doing that, personally, I don't want to make the podcast about Destiny. You know, like, I'd rather kind of keep to our roots of Star Wars.
Okay.
Just know, folks, that day I might be a mess because servers will be offline starting Monday at noon. And they'll go live when the thing comes out. So whole day offline, no Destiny. Oh god.
Yeah, talking about that, I already saw that there's a lot of content creators already like putting up their reviews about it, the expansion already.
Oh, yeah, they got to play early.
Yeah.
Got to play early.
I was actually surprised.
A lot of it, like, I know Fallout and Astrocross, shout out to those guys. They did more myth busting with their time with the hands-on content. Because I think they got to do the first mission and they got to play with Prismatic and all. So you know they got that. What? Go ahead.
I was gonna say the two people I know that got to play it early was IGN Destin. If you don't know who Destin is, he's
I saw IGN in the playtesting lobbies they were talking about.
Yeah, I was watching the review and then I heard Destin's voice. I'm like, it's Destin. I know him. That's cool. Because I know he works at IGN, so it's kind of cool. I didn't watch all the review. I need to watch the rest of it. And then I know Skill Up, he actually got to play it for a couple days. I
think there was like 2 days of playtesting, and even then it was limited.
Yeah. I
think day 1 was like the mission and prismatic play, and then day 2 was more weapons and even PvP.
So yeah, it's interesting.
I think it was also like more free roam stuff. So
cool.
Not in the destination. They really didn't get a lot of stuff in the Pale Heart, but you know. And folks, I know. I apologize about this.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens next episode. We'll either do that or we'll do more Star Wars stuff. I don't know.
Which, to be fair, folks, yes. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of Star Wars to go over right now.
Yeah, it's sadly the thing with Star Wars. Like, you can also see with a lot of Star Wars content creators, like Star Bazaar is one of my favorite Star Wars content creators. He's kind of, because there just isn't that much Star Wars stuff, he kind of switched over and he's been playing, oh, damn it, what's the game called? It's the PlayStation game with the girl, the big whole controversy because they changed her outfits and stuff.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm trying to think PlayStation games. I'll have to find it.
The only one I can even remotely think of is Horizon Dawn. I don't know any controversy about that. I'm like Bayonetta?
Yeah, I think it is Bayonetta. No, it's not Bayonetta. It's Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade. He's been doing content about that lately. But yeah, that's kind of the thing. Sadly, with Star Wars, we do get some content, but it's kind of a trickle fed kind of thing. We have like one thing, maybe another thing. It just depends.
Well, I mean, we get stuff pretty often. It's just like, you know, we're just at a drop point.
Yeah.
You know?
Until Acolyte comes out, and then we can kind of talk about that. Yeah.
Then we have to milk that content for however long.
Milk it as much as we can, and then we'll do more Star Wars stuff. But yeah. Actually, talking about Star Wars stuff, I am doing a playthrough of Star Wars The Clone Wars, and I'm talking about The Clone Wars, which was the split pack with Tetris World on the original Xbox. I'm kind of doing a replay of that game. It's like one of my first games I played on the Xbox, one of my first Star Wars games, to be honest. But yeah, definitely check that out if you're interested. It's a really good game. It's, as I said, it's from the original Xbox. You have to definitely put your expectations in check, because this is don't be like, well, the graphics really suck, or like, well, the writing and the animation are horrible.
See, I don't mind a lot of that stuff when it comes to it, but I'm very stuck on my newer graphic appearances.
I can understand that.
Like, yeah, I want my game to look fairly nice. I don't want to have to look at a fucking pixel and be like, so is that a hamburger or is that my ammunition?
Now, I'm not going to tell you guys that this is like the best Star Wars game in the world. It's mainly nostalgia. It's a lot of memories I've had with the game and stuff. Me and my brother both played it a lot, and we have a lot of great memories playing the game. But it's definitely a cool story if you actually look into it. Because the thing is, I had never really truly realized what the whole story was until like me and my brother actually did a whole playthrough of it. And we kind of looked up the story, and it's kind of a story that I don't think has ever been kind of shown in like the media. Like, I'm talking about like TV series, movies. It's kind of its own little story. It's during the Clone War era, like shortly, like around. It starts right.
What's the game again?
Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and it's going to be. There's so many Star Wars: The Clone Wars, so it's kind of hard to find like the right one. But it'll be one that's the split. It's the original Xbox. Is the best way to look it up, and you'll find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely cool. But I think this is where we're gonna end it for today. You have anything else to say, Spart?
Not really. Other than bye-bye.
Okay, guys. We'll see you guys Monday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time for another podcast. Thank you guys for joining us. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.